Good morning from Nice. My bus doesn't leave until later this morning to Liguria. I couldn't think of a better way to start the day than watching the sunrise over the Mediterranean and going for a little morning dip. Sometimes you don't need to have elaborate itineraries for a single day, especially if you're traveling from one to the next. However, I do believe in making the most of every moment that you possibly can, and going to swim in the Mediterranean first thing in the morning is just such a treat. There is something about waking up a little extra early just to see the sunrise in a beautiful destination and swimming in the Mediterranean. Oh, I just love it. The water's calm, the beaches are quiet, and for a little while, it feels like the city belongs only to the people awake to watch the sun come up. I seriously did not want to leave. However, I was going to my favorite place in Italy, so that gave me a little motivation to finally get out of the water and go get ready. I had a tram and a bus to catch, so let's get on it. The one thing that I do love about Nice, and I've said in previous videos, the tram is so easy to take to and from the airport. From Terminal 1, you can easily catch the FlixBus right here next to the tram. It makes it so easy. I just take the FlixBus right into Genova. I suggest arriving early because the bus does run typically on time and will leave at exactly the time they're saying they're going to leave. One of my favorite things about European travel is that getting between countries is often incredibly easy. Instead of renting a car, I have opted for the FlixBus. It's affordable, comfortable, and honestly, the views along this route are worth sitting by the window. I always have a window seat because within minutes of leaving Nice, you're reminded of this stretch of coastline that is famously beautiful, featuring as Monaco, Menton, bridges the gap between France and Italy. As you come onto the Italian-French border, you will go through a toll. They do sometimes send security through the bus, so we had a dog come and sniff the bus out to make sure that everything was safe as we were crossing the border. Now, this region from the French border down to La Spezia or Cinque Terre, this coastline is called Liguria. And specifically, we're in Western Liguria. So this stretch of the Italian Riviera runs from the French border to Genova. Western Liguria is known for its seaside towns, colorful villages, beautiful beaches, historic centers, and this incredible landscape where the mountains seem to tumble straight into the sea. This part of Liguria is also famous for its mild climate, flowers, olive groves, and incredible food. You'll find Ligurian olive oil, fresh seafood, focaccia, and of course, pesto, which originated in Genova. I cannot get enough time exploring Liguria, and I really don't think that it's nearly talked about enough as much as places like Amalfi Coast, Puglia, Sicily, Sardinia. It really is a beautiful area that is very authentic. It makes all of Liguria so special. There are these auto grills along the highways in Italy, which are so great. They're perfect for a quick snack and a bathroom break. I got this panino, and it was the perfect little thing to time me over because this is a 2.5 hour to 3 hour journey. However, this day it took even longer because of traffic. As we travel along the coast, you can actually see the terraces climbing up the hillsides planted with olive trees, grapevines, herbs, vegetables, and in parts of Western Liguria, even the flowers that the region is famous for. It's one of those details that's really easy to miss when you're looking out the window, but once you notice the terraces, you start seeing them everywhere, and they're such a beautiful example of how the people here have shaped the landscape over centuries while working with the geography of Liguria. And just like that, we've made it to Genova, the heart of Liguria. From here, I transferred to the train station, which is called Genova Piazza Principale, I think. I'm not sure. Onto the train and onto Rapallo. The train was really hot today. I'm not sure why. So I had my fan there for backup because by all means, I'm not going to be hot. After a beautiful journey along the coast, I finally made it back to sweet Rapallo. I got settled into the apartment, unpacked a few things, and did what has quickly become one of my favorite things to do whenever I'm here is head out for an evening stroll along the promenade. There's something about Rapallo in the evening that I absolutely love. Palm trees, the colorful buildings lining the waterfront, the boats in the harbor, and everyone slowly making their way out for aperitivo or dinner. There's no rush. You just fall into the rhythm of the town. And tonight, I already knew exactly where I was going. Taverna Azzurra has become one of my favorite restaurants in Rapallo. And there was one thing in particular I had been thinking about coming back for, their lobster pasta. Fresh lobster pasta, a glass of wine, and an evening in the Italian Riviera after starting my morning with a sunrise swim in Nice. I can't think of a much better way to end the day. But obviously, we weren't finished yet. Because if there is pistachio tiramisu on the menu, you order the pistachio tiramisu. And with that, my first night back in Rapallo was complete. Thanks for joining me on the journey to Liguria, from sunrise in Nice and the south of France to dinner in Liguria. Like and subscribe. Next, we're going to Monterosso al Mare in Cinque Terre to explore a little more and have a beach day. See you soon. Ciao, ciao.